Welcome to today's press conference previewing this weekend's wagon wheel game with Kent State on Saturday. Coach, if you make an opening statement to the game this week.
It's rivalry week, I think that's what makes college athletics great. You get an opportunity to play for something like the wagon wheel and the kids, regardless of how your season's going or the circumstance that you're going through. At the end of the day, rivalry games kind of always stand out and mean something not only to the players but the institution, the communities, the people that support it. So there's been a lot of people that come through this university that have a lot of pride, and really that's been the focus point for us and our kids this week is trying to win the wagon wheel. And for me it's about hanging it in that locker room and giving it as a gift to the next staff.
George, fire away with questions for Coach Rodriguez.
Coach, has I don't want to call it a storm, but has it calmed down there enough to where you've been able to concentrate, focus them on doing exactly that this week?
No doubt. I mean, I've had cancer twice. This ain't chaos. To me, this is minimal. You just you hit it, and it's like anything in life. You adjust and you adapt, and I'm a solutions-based guy. So we're just going to find solutions to whatever problem it is and hit it one day at a time, man. I woke up healthy. I still got a job, until that comes up. I don't have chemo. I'm not dying. So I think perspective, to me, there's not a lot of chaos.
What about the players? How are they feeling at this point? Can you get a gauge on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's high emotion, They lost their coaching staff. They lost their coach. Their kids. When you're an adult, you have life experience, so you naturally learn how to deal with things, whether it's professionally or as a grown man. Some of these kids aren't mature enough yet to know how to respond, and that's not their fault. You got to teach them, and that's kind of been my focus, is really teaching them how to handle this. In life lessons, like in anything, they're going to go on into a workforce, and some of them could get laid off for whatever reasons, whether it could be COVID related and they're cutting jobs, or, maybe you just weren't productive enough. Whatever the reason is, I'm trying to show them how men handle their business and handle things with class in the grace of, the circumstance. So, yeah, man, it's been high emotions, but, just try to approach it with a calm, cool, attitude.
All that being said, an actual football question now. Kent seems to be vulnerable defensively. They've given up over 100 points. Actually, it's 130 points in the past 3 games. How do you exploit that?
Well, you got to be able to run the football, that way that, you keep their offense off the field, because we know they're explosive, and, we're going to have to handle the time of possession game. We're going to have to convert some third downs depending on where the ball's at, and, from a field position standpoint, convert some fourth downs. They're giving up some points, but I think if you look at the conference overall, everybody gives up points. It's a really, really offensive-driven league, and people score points. And in order to win in this league, you got to keep up. But even defensively for them, I know they made a change, but their style of play, they play fast and they play for a lot of possessions. I don't care who the coordinator is. You're going to struggle defensively just because of the way they play offensively. So, naturally your defense is going to be on the field more, which creates opportunities for your offense. Now it's maintaining the time of possession and then being really good in the red zone when you get down there, and not exchanging field goals for touchdowns.
Zach Gibson be your starter?
Yeah.
What does he bring? And mind you, I've known you guys brought Zach here, so his development since his arrival has been uncanny. The footwork is there, the decision-making is there. What accounts for that?
I think he's maturing. He was a freshman. We played Cato that first year, and then going into the COVID year, he had to play. And, like any kid, any freshman with no experience, he's going to make mistakes. So, like, anytime, like, you have those scars, like, you tend to learn from them. And I think that's what he's done. And obviously we've played 3 guys this year, and he's got an opportunity to, like, play consistently and see those pictures. And you just see the growth in him, as a young quarterback. And, and he's tough, man. He takes shots and delivers the balls. And does he make all the right choices? No. But that's okay, because neither do the coaches, and neither does everybody or anybody that is making decisions. And you got to understand that players are going to make those mistakes. And as long as he makes more than he doesn't, I'm good with it.
You alluded to this earlier. You're essentially going to be playing a basketball game. It's a matter of possessions. It's going to be a fast break pass basketball game because of the way Kent plays. How does your defense handle that this week?
And we've talked about that. Last week, I talked to them about being opportunistic, bend but don't break, you know what I'm saying? And they're going to get their yards regardless of where they start and as far as field position. But, like, when the field shrinks, we got to be really, really good in the red area. And we got to find a way to turn them over, because that's where they struggle is when you get a takeaway, they lose those possessions, and if you can convert those into touchdowns, it changes the way they play. So, like, if we can keep the game even or even have a lead, their schedule will change, and they'll have to play us different. And defensively, that'll benefit us. So I got a lot of faith in our kids. At the end of the day, like, just give ourselves a chance late and play hard. And that's really all I care about.
I know you come from the other side of the ball, but I got to ask: was there a sense that Michael Matheson would eventually break one of those long touchdown runs at some point this season? Did you realize he had it in him?
No, Mike's like very explosive young man. Like, I knew after the second kickoff return that we were about to break one, because, like, the first one was there, this from a blocking standpoint. The second one, we didn't see it from a angle of departure. So I knew on that third one, I was like, man, if we can just line this up, this thing's gonna hit, because most people fair catch that and they'll just take the ball at the 25. And I was like, play aggressive and see what happens. And sure enough, man, it lined up, and then it was one-on-one with the kicker, and he made a cut, and it was over. So, like, that comes as no surprise to me,
All right, sir. I appreciate your time. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
I'll follow up on Zach, because you've been asked about that, and he took a lot of hits last week. Is he back to 100% health? He seemed to be a little wobbly toward the
Yeah, anytime you take shots, that's going to affect the way you play. And, it's one thing we talked about. They were playing a really physical brand of defensive football at Western Michigan, and they were finishing tackles, which I thought were questionable at times. Could have got a couple of personal fouls, but we didn't. And he did a good job of, getting back up and competing. And there's nothing more demoralizing to a defense when you keep hitting a guy and he keeps making throws. And, and at the end of the day, like, if you have a tough quarterback, you got a tough team. So, like, hit us all you want. We're going to continue to get up. And I think I said this to Joe. I'm a big boxing fan. And anytime you watch a really good Mexican boxing match, you're going to take shots. And it ain't about who lands them, it's who can take them the most. And, at the end of the day, I want this team to reflect my personality. And that's going to be calm and cool and tough. And, at the end of the day, Zach showed a lot of those traits, and I couldn't be more proud of him.